Radio Rahim here with Stitch. You know that this man has been in the corner, MMA, boxing, legend. Every time you see his face, you know that something is going to happen that's big in the sport of combat. And so this time, I mean, it's big, but it's massive.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of unpredictable because even you, and correct me if I'm wrong, have you ever been in the corner of a 58-year-old fighter?
Well, you know what? I did an amateur event. They would call this the senior circuit with Mark Fox, a Native American from North Dakota. He was like 62. But those are amateurs, right, with little experience. But no, somebody at this level, never.
Sorry.
No, you know, like I said before, I've known Mike since like 25 years. We usually train in the same gym in Las Vegas before he even got his tattoos. And the intensity that he had there, I saw it here.
Were there those amateur boxers you're talking about? Did they have headgear on?
Yeah, they had headgear, big gloves. I mean, it was just for entertainment.
So it's a lot less likely that a cut even happens. But when a guy like Mike, with the kind of scar tissue he's had and having 58-year-old skin, no matter how much you moisten it and moisturize, it's going to be difficult to keep that from tearing up if you're taking hard shots with a 27-year-old kid, even with 14-ounce gloves. Is there a special way that you have to prepare, or what do you do to make sure that if that happens, you can seal him up quickly?
No, that's a good question. But, you know, like I tell all these fighters, look, I'm going to keep ice on you every round. I'm not going to wait till you start inflaming. I'm going to minimize as much as possible, you know, so don't freak out. This is just I want to make sure you walk out as handsome as you walk in, you know, right? Psychology is such a big point, but it's true. Just keep ice on him. And when I worked with Tyson Fury, as he was getting ready to take a shower and I'm ready to leave, and he gives me a hug and a kiss and says, "Thanks for keeping ice on me. I love you." No, small things like that.
You know the mentality that fighters have to have, not just going in the ring, but between rounds. You're seeing them in all those moments. You know, a kid like Jake Paul, you know, believes that he's got the advantages. He believes that whether he says it or not, the age differential gives him an advantage. What do you believe that Mike Tyson needs to believe, not just walking in there for the first round, but between rounds, to keep that engine going and to keep him believing that this is going to come out with him ahead?
Yeah, well, you know, that's a good question. And Rafael Cordero, and I've known him for many, many years with the UFC, worked many, many fights with him. And I told him today, you know, I was a trainer before I was a cutman. Mm-hmm. So I saw the work that he did with Mike, and Mike has the plan, bro. Mm-hmm. You know, he, outside of being Mike Tyson going at it toe-to-toe, Mike is going to set shit up.
Yeah.
And that's unusual, you know. but I told Rafael, that's smart. He says, yeah. He goes, you got to sometimes hold, what do you say, the pit bull back a little bit, you know, and set up techniques and all that, and slow the pace down, and you know, because you got on the side 58 years old. So
I said the same yesterday when I was doing an analyst show, that the age is absolutely a factor because this is a young man's game. But Mike Tyson, you know, he knows more about boxing, and Jake Paul, Mike Tyson's forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul could possibly know at this point. So the kind of traps that a wise veteran fighter can set up, the kind of ways he can walk you into punches and hit you from shots that you don't see coming. I mean, can you even state how important that is to the fight game, and for the younger fans who may not know what a Mike Tyson with all those years in the ring can bring?
The first shot's the most important shot. And at that point, he has to let Jake Paul know that you got a bunch of these are in my arsenal, bro. You know, but get used to it, right? It's a mental game. Mm. And the thing about it, how is Jake Paul, because I've worked all these fights against him and with him, and how's he going to handle a Mike Tyson? Is reality going to kick in once that bell rings? And it probably will.
Do you think that when reality kicks in, Jake Paul has what it takes to maybe overcome what could be considered the impossible, beating a Mike Tyson?
You know, Rahim, I always look at worst case scenarios, and that is a scenario that could be a worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's capable of that. The man could hit, right? And the guy is a wrestler. He was a wrestler before, him and Logan. And when out of school of kickboxing, wrestlers made good transitions. So he's an athlete, and he's an athlete that could hit, and, you know, it always takes one shot.
Everybody wants to see Mike Tyson win, whose last name isn't Paul.
Right.
You know, because nobody wants to see one of your icons, one of your legends lose, but certainly at this age. And so I'm going to take you a bit down the road of boxing history, because what I've said is, to me, it's almost like there's a no-win for Jake. Like, if he gets knocked out by Mike Tyson, sure, yeah, it's Mike Tyson, but still, you got knocked out by a 58-year-old man. But then also, I can't even imagine the image of a Mike Tyson laid out on the canvas or taking the 10 count from a Jake Paul. I mean, in that sense, do you think this was a mistake for Jake Paul to even conceive getting in the ring and putting this dynamic together?
Well, it's done, so it's a little too late to be predicting on what's going to be good for him and what's not. And, I'm sure he's, mentally prepared, physically prepared. But like I say, once he gets in that ring and they're just him and them, that's when that mental game changes a little bit. And Mike's been there plenty of times. Plenty of times.
Jake says he's going to call out Canelo, which he's done before, but he intends to get that fight next. How would you see, and I'm even sorry for asking, but I have to ask because he's put it on the table, how do you see Jake Paul versus Canelo?
A little too greedy for that point. Canelo's way too advanced. Jake Paul's a good B-rated fighter right now. When you break it down, it's a good B-rated fighter. Canelo's A+, bro, and it's a little tough. Yeah, but I understand.
Right.
I understand the machoism. I understand the marketing. And bless his heart, if he gets it, then who's the fool? Right?
That's right. That's right. Let me tell you what. The only cutman I've ever seen get an applause, and he gets a ruckus one. Every time Stitch is in the building, people gather around. They want to shake his hand. They want to take the picture, and I get the honor of having the interview. So once again, it's a pleasure and an honor, sir. We'll see you on Friday night in the corner. Radio Rahim with Stitch.